All right, Shalom, Shalom. It's Brother Atazadak here of Israel. I'd like to start off by giving all honor and glory to Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahushai, Bahashem, Kakwadash, double honors to the elders and apostles of Great Millstone. Today we're going to go into Leviticus chapter 1, go into the Hebrew. So, Lord willing, you're edified, giving all honor and glory to Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahushai, Bahashem, Kakwadash, double honors to the elders and apostles of Great Millstone. Let's get right into it, right? Salakia. Get that real quick. Leviticus chapter 1, verse 1, and it reads, Wayakwara al-Mashah, meaning, and he called unto Moses, and he spoke the Lord unto him, Wayadabar Yahweh al-Yahweh, from the tent of assemblage to say, right, Ma achol ma wa'id la'amar. Speak to the children of Israel, the Bar al Banaya Yasha'ala, and say unto them, Wa Amarath alham Adam Kaya Ya Kwaryab, meaning a man because he bring near from him Makam, an oblation, Kwarban, unto the Lord La Yahweh. Man ha bahama, man ha bakwar, from the beast, from the herds, and from the flocks. Waman ha taza'an, to bring near tha kwaryabwa, to his oblation, atha kwarban come. I'm Allah kwarbanwa, meaning if it be a burnt offering, which he brings near, right? Or Salakia, which is brought near from the herds. Man ha bakwar, a male perfect. Zakar the mayim. So it's saying a male perfect, right? It will be, right? Ya kwaryab nawa, right? Which he will bring near to the door of the tent of assemblage. Al pathak achal mawa'id, right? Ya kwaryab athawa, he will bring near unto it to be acceptable before the Lord. La ratazanawa la panya Yahweh. So let's get that rataza, Leviticus 1 and 3. Let's get that real quick. Right, which means the root is ratazawan, meaning acceptable, right? Ratazawan, delight, satisfaction, delight, will, pleasure, goodwill, favor, acceptance, right? So it denotes acceptance, right? Ratazan, or let's go into that. The word Strong's H7521, which says ratazah, right? So ratazah says to be delighted, right? With any person or thing, right? To satisfy, pay off, right? So it denotes acceptableness, right? Verse 4, Wa samak yadwa al ra'ash ha'ailah, meaning, and will lean his hand upon the head of the burnt offering, which will be Salakia wa naratazah lawa, and it will be acceptable for him, right? for an atonement, for a burnt offering, right? La kapar alayawa, right? Or Salakia, basically it says for an atonement, which will be his burnt offering, right? Or for an atonement, his burnt offering. Wa shachat atha ban ha bakwar, and will slaughter to the son of the herd before the Lord. La panaya Yahweh, waha kwaryabwa, and he will bring it near to the sons of Aaron, Benaiah Aaron, the priest, ha kahanium, to the blood, atha hadam, and will scatter it, wazarakwa, to its blood, atha hadam, upon the altar, al ha mazabach, sabiab, around about, ashar, which is at the door of the tabernacle of assemblage, pathach achal mawa'id, waha pashiat, right? Meaning, and he will strip to the burnt offering, atha ha'ila, right? So you have a sense of to strip, to take off clothes, and then in the sense of to strip an animal, right, of the inwards, or whatever the case may be, right? Wa nathach, and will dismember to it, atha, because that's what nathach means. It means to cut in pieces, right? Or in the sense of dismembering, right? A sacrificial animal, right? And will dismember to it, right? So it will read la nathachia, right? To dismember it, but right, you got to remember, right? When it says that word, salaki, repetitively, it's really saying and will dismember to it in sections, right? Because he's cutting it to it in order to what? Make sections, right? So it's really simple, right? Now let's go into that word, nathach. Nathach, to cut into pieces, right? To cut up, cut in pieces, divide by joints, right? To dismember, right? So that's what it says. Simple as that. Because me personally, when I first got into Leviticus, going into the Hebrew, I thought, oh man, it's so complicated because of the way the sacrificial process is written and translated. Maybe it's going to be super complicated, but it's not, right? It's not really that complicated, right? Verse 7, Wa Nathanwa Benaiah Aaron, and will place it, the sons of Aaron, of the priest, Ha Kahan, to the fire, Ash, right, which is upon the altar, Salaki, and will place the sons of Aaron, the priest, right, fire upon the altar, Al Ha Mazabach, and will assemble, right, wood upon the fire, right, which is Wa Irakwa Atazium Al Ha'ash, right? So they light the fire, put the wood on it, right? That's after they strip the burnt offering, cut it up into sections, right? Salakia. Wa Irakwa Benaiah Aaron, right? and will assemble it, the sons of Aaron, the priests, ha kahanyim, right? To the sections, right? Atha ha nathachim, to its head, atha ha ra'ash, wa atha ha padar, and to its fat, right? Now let's look at that word, padar, right? Which is Strong's H6309. Padar being fat, suet, meaning to be greasy, suet, fat. So it's just the fat of it, right? If you want to get more specific, let's just look what suet is, right? Sweat. Let's go to images. It's just the facts section of beef or whatever meat it is, right? So this is the suet, right? And let's see, get a better picture. So basically that, right? It's just the fat section, right? So let's just put in steak, see what we get. Right, so that white lining, that is the suet, right? Which is, let's just look up stomach lining. Slovakia. Stomach lining would be see what we can find. Cow. Right, never mind, that's not what I was looking for. Right, and that word arak means to set in order, right? For example, you can set, right, 2 pieces of bread in rows, or 2 rows of bread in rows of 3, which is what you were supposed to do during the Sabbath, right? For the which was the duty of the priest, right? So it says, and we'll set it in order, the sons of Aaron, the priest, right, to the sections, to the head, and to its fat, right, upon wood, al ha itaziyum, ashar al ha'ash, which will be upon the fire, right? Ashar al ha mazabach, which will be upon the altar. Wa korabwa, right? And its inwards, right? Because that word korab means to bring near, but in this case it's denoting the inwards of a sacrificial animal, specifically the legs, right? Wa karai yawa, right? And its legs, right? Because the word for leg is actually shawak, right? But here, like I said, you'll read it in other verses, because that word karai, it literally means to stoop down, right? Because and that is referencing the leg, right? Which really is referencing the lower section, in which you stoop down, right? The strength really goes to your lower section, from the knees on down, right, to your ankles, right? An example, let me just show you real quick. So you stoop down, right? This is what it's referencing, right? It's denoting, really it's denoting the whole leg, right? because we're talking about a sacrificial animal, right? But specifically in a person, it would be from the knee to the ankle, right? Because that is the action of stooping down, right? But like I said, the word shawak is, the word for leg is shawak. Knees will be barakium or barak, knee, singular, right? Feet, nayel, or salaki, regal. Nayel is shoe, right? Um, so it says, and its inwards and its legs, they will wash, right? Ya rakataza, in water, bamayim, waha, quatayar, and will offer it as incense, the priest, ha-kahan, right? To all of it, right? Atha hakal, right? Upon the altar, right? Ha mazabacha, right? For a burnt offering, Ilah, Asha, right? For a burnt offering as a sacrifice of fire, right? Rayach, Nayachach, for an odor pleasant unto the Lord, La Yahweh, right? Verse 10, Wa'im, Man, Chataza'an, and if it be from the flax, right? Quarbanwa, right? His oblation, right? From the lambs, man ha kashabium, awa man itazium ha itazium, or from the goats, right? For burnt offering, la ilah, a male perfect it will be. Zakar thamayum, right? His which he will bring near, right? Ya Kwaryab Nawa, meaning which he will bring near unto them, right? As in unto the priests, right? Wa Shachat Athawa, and was slaughtered to it, right? Upon the side of the altar, Al Yarak, to Ha Mazabach, unto the north, Tazapana, right? Because that word Iraq denotes what? It literally means thigh, right? So that's how you say thigh, right? But that is also denoting, right, the side of something, right? It also denotes, how do you call it? It called Iraq for the stands of the candlestick, right? It can also denote, what is it? What is it? Let's see. Gotta look it up. Let's see. Let me just type in 3D shapes. Cylinder, right? Denoting a cylinder-like shape of an object, right? Because that is the shape of the thigh, essentially, right? Cylinder in shape, right? But here it's talking about the side, right? The side or the edge of something, right? So it says, La Panaya Yahweh, before the Lord, and will scatter it right? Meaning to its blood. Wazarakwa, the sons of Aaron. Benaiah Aran, the priests. Ha Kahanyam, right? To its blood. Atha Damwa, upon the altar round about. Al Ha Mazabach Sabyab, right? Wa Nathach Athawa, right? And will dismember to it, right, into sections. La Nathach Yawa, and to its head, right? Wa Atha Ra'ashwa, and to its fat. Wa Atha Padarwa, right? Wa Arak, and will set it in order, right? The priest, Ha Kahan, Salakia, unto them Athan, or Atham, upon wood, Al Ha Itaziyam, which is upon the fire, Ashar Al Ha-Ash, Salakia, Ashar Al Ha-Ash, which is upon the altar, Ashar Al Ha-Mazabach, right? And it says, right, Waha Kwarab, and the inwards, right? And the legs, Waha Karayim, right? He will wash it in water. Ya Rachataza Bamayum, right? Waha Kwaryab, and he will bring it near the priest, Ha-Kahan, to all of it, right? Atha Hakal, Waha Kwatayar, and will offer it as incense, right? Upon the altar, Ha Mazabacha, for a burnt offering, Ilah, that is, Hawa, for sacrifice of fire, Asha, for an odor pleasant, Rayach, Nayachach, unto the Lord, La Yahweh, right? Verse 14, Wa'im man ha-iwap, and if it be from the fowls, right, a burnt offering, Allah, of his oblation, Korbanwa, unto the Lord, La Yahweh, right? Waha Koryab, and he will bring it near, from the turtle doves, Man Hatharium, right? Awa Man Banaya Ha Yana, right? Which it reads, or from the son of a dove, right? To his oblation, right? Atha Korbanwa, right? Verse 15, Waha Koryabwa, right? And he will bring it near the priest, Ha-Kahad, unto the altar, Ha-Al-Ha-Mazabach, Wa Malakwa, right? Meaning he's gonna wring off its head, right? Whether it be a turtle dove or a dove, right? So let's look at that word malak. Or malakwa. Which is to break, to crush, right? To nip off, right? As in the sense of, right, crack a joint, right? To wring the neck of a fowl, to wring off, right? So that's all it's denoting, right? So basically it's saying, right, And he will bring near the priest to the altar, right? Meaning the bird, and will wring off its head, right? Wa malak atha ra'ashwa, right? Waha kwatayar, and he will offer it as incense, right? As in he's gonna snap the head off, right? Um, and he's gonna throw the head into the fire, right? Um, onto the altar, ha mazabacha, right? And will drain its blood, wana mataza damwa, right? Because that word mataza means to drain, right? Let's look at that real quick. Mataza, right? Being to suck out, to drink out, to press out, right? But it just means to drain, drain out, right? The Arabic says matazawa, to drain the last drop, of my taza, like it says in the Hebrew, right? It says, and will drain its blood, right? Al Quayar Ha Mazabak, right? So it just says, translation, against the side of the altar, right? But that word Quayar doesn't mean the side of anything, right? It should really read, and drain its blood, right? Beside the drain, right? Because that word Quayar means to dig, right? So he's draining it in the sense of he's the verb, right? He's draining its blood beside the drain of the altar, which is beside the altar, right? So this is what he's doing, right? He snapped the head off, threw it into the fire, right? So now, right, here's the bird. He's draining it, right? This is the quayar. That is the drain, right? Beside the altar. Here's the altar, right? And that is draining its blood beside the altar, right? So he's draining it, right? Mataza, into the drain, right? Verse 16, Waha Sayar, and he will turn back to its head, Atha Ma'ra'ash, Ma'ra, or Salakia, and he will turn back to its contents, Atha Ma'ra'athwa, because that word Ma'ra'a, it just means Ma meaning of, Ra'a means to see, right? As in that which is seen within the animal, right? Basically, it's another way to say it's inwards, right? So it says, and he will turn back to the inwards, right? Because after you rip off the head, that is what is going to be seen, right? Mara'ah just means sight, right? Or vision, right? And it says, ba natazatha, right? So let's get that real quick. Salakia. which is verse 16. So it says Ma'ra'ah, right? Which I already explained that. Natazah, right? Says a feather, right? Something cast out, plumage, and that answers to the etymology of where it says fringes or tzitzit, right? It literally means feather, right? Feather, well, not literally, but it denotes feathers or something, right? That something similar to it, right? It could be hair, right? Because it really goes back to taza'ah, right? Something that comes out, right? Because the hair grows as in coming out. The feathers grow as in it comes out, right? That's all really it's denoting, right? Let's see. Because it says here, na taza'ah, right? Ya taza'ah, right? So it says, and you will turn back, right? As in remove, to its inwards, right? Because he ripped off the head, and he's got to take out the insides, right? Upon that which cometh out, right? Because he has to take the insides, right? He has to put his hand out and dig them out. You could say feathers, but you know it doesn't make sense, right? Because it doesn't say pluck the feathers, it doesn't say cut them, whatever, you know. So it's really talking about after you rip the head off, you're gonna, whatever is seen on the inside, you're gonna grab it, and it's gonna pull. You're gonna pull it out, right? Waha shalyaka, and will throw to it atha, beside the altar, atazal ha mazabach, unto the east, Guadama al makwam, to the place of the altar fat, or the fat ashes of the altar, right? Ha dashan, because that word dashan denotes fat or fat ashes, right? Salakia. Wa shasai atawa, right? And will part to it, right? Upon its wings, right? So it wasn't talking about its feathers, right? Before that. So it says, and will part unto it upon its wings, ba kanap yawa, right? To part is in the sense that, right? So it says he's not to tear it open, right? Because that word shasai, right? Something that's parted, right? So he's gonna do this to the feathers, right? Here's the feathers or the wings. He's gonna cut right in between it like that, right? And it says la'a yabada yal, meaning he will not separate it, right? As in he's not gonna separate, he's not gonna cut the wings off completely. He's just gonna cut them within those sections so it burns easier, right? Waha Kwatayar, and he will offer it as incense to it, Athawa, the priest, Ha Kahan, upon the altar, Ha Mazabacha, which is upon the wood, Al Ha Itazayim, which is upon a fire, Ashar Al Ha'ash, for a burnt offering, that is, Hawa, Ilah Hawa, Asha, for sacrificial fire, right? Or sacrifice of fire, right? Rayach Nayachach, odor pleasant unto the Lord, La Yahweh, right? Let's see if I got any more words to go into, right? So feather, that's not really necessarily what it's talking about, right? But it does allude to feathers in other precepts, right? Let's see. Karai, Korab, Matazah. So yeah, basically that's it, right? So this is Leviticus chapter 1, going into the Hebrew. Salakia. Lord willing, you ratified. His brother Tazdak, hero Israel. And as always, giving all honor and glory to Yahweh, Ba'ashem Yahushai, Ba'ashem Kakodash. Double honors to the elders and apostles of Great Millstone. Kwame Hasha'Allah, Ba'ad Shalom.